loves, welcome to the TRIBEvibe meditation series hosted by Black Amethyst Naturals. I'm so glad that you could join us today. This week we will be talking about healthy eating, and not really healthy eating. We're going to be talking about plant-based eating specifically. And so it's going to be fun because, this is something I really enjoy talking about. So I'm going to try not to jump down the rabbit hole too far on you guys, but I just definitely wanted to make sure that we celebrate plant-based eating for a week, and so that's what we're going to do this week. So I want to make sure that we get our housekeeping stuff in order before we start. The very first thing I would like to tell you is make sure you join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for full episodes available on your favorite podcast platform and also available on YouTube. If you want to catch us on social media, you usually catch a link to the YouTube page or to the podcast, or you'll catch little nuggets of information here and there that we kind of pull out, that we like to, do little snippets of the TRIBEvibe, so it won't be a full hour. So if you don't see the full episode, just go catch us on YouTube or catch us on one of our podcasts, okay? We're on Google, Spotify, Anchor, waiting on iTunes. They're taking their precious moments uploading it, but I guess they want to make sure everything is copacetic. So anyway, we'll be on iTunes at some point whenever they get their life together. It's not me, it's them. But anyway, so yes, that's that. Then I also want to tell you, make sure you go do your social media for me. So I need you to like, share, subscribe. I want you to tag your accountability partner, or at least send them the link or send them a text message and say, hey, where you at? And then additionally, I would also like for you to go do your in-person socialing. And when you're in front of your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your auntie and uncle, and then when y'all are face to face, I want you to ask them, hey, have you heard about the TRIBEvibe? Have you gone to see that? They got some great content on there. I'm a little biased, but if that's how you feel, then share it with them. I'm sure you feel that way, so share it with your folks, okay? So all right, loves. So that's it. That's it for the social media, unless I forgot something, and then I'll look at this later and be like, girl, you forgot to say that, but it's okay. Whatever. It's all natural here, and we don't try to do the whole. I keep thinking about getting a script together because I'm like, I do pretty good remembering everything. Every once in a while, I'll forget something. I'll be like, dang, you forgot something. You should just put a script up. I ain't did a check. It's all off the top of the head. We be trying to make sure that everything is relatable here. So I'm just talking to y'all like y'all sitting in front of me. So, we gonna probably keep with that because I like, I like the authentic organicness of it. And speaking of organic, we're going to get in our topic for today. We are going to be talking about plant-based eating. We're going to be talking about my journey to plant-based eating, okay? And how I navigated the space and really kind of got to what my understanding of, my diet is. And I don't know if we want to call it diet, lifestyle, I'm not really sure what you want to call it. How I eat, how I decide what I'm going to eat. Okay. So let me take you back to the beginning. I always say, where am I going to start? And then I say, we might as well go back to the beginning. So let me take you back to the beginning. If you had the pleasure of joining us on any of the other episodes that I talked about, kind of my journey to self-care and wellness, or just my journey overall, I usually somewhere in there talk about eating, because I think it was the most major thing that I actually changed. The other stuff, and I shouldn't say major, it was the thing I was most aware that I was changing, like that I was actively working towards. The other things I was like, oh, okay, they kind of just happened, like when they organically needed to happen, or when they had to happen because wasn't no other option. But plant-based eating was, I think, kind of the first thing that I was really like, I'm being 110% intentional about making this change, because I know that it's going to change a lot of things as far as like health and just a whole lot of different things. I knew it was going to change all those things, so I was being very intentional about it. And I would say it started, I don't even know, maybe 2015? Somewhere around there, maybe. Somewhere around there. Probably 2015-ish. And prior to that, I was just eating, I mean, normal American diet. Probably I ate a whole lot of chicken, y'all. Me and chicken was baes. I ate a whole lot of chicken, a whole lot of cheese. Um, just a sprinkle of vegetables. I never really shied away from vegetables or disliked them or anything, but typical. Way too much meat, not enough vegetables. A bunch of processed fast food, eating out, drank a ton of pop, drinking liquor all the time. Normal stuff, right? And it wasn't like I had any major health issue or anything like that. That was like, oh, I need to change my diet. I watched a documentary, and it's so funny because I watched a documentary, and y'all know clearly that's why we on a TRIBEvibe talking about the stuff we talk about. I love learning. I love having comprehensive, and maybe not even comprehensive, but I love having a good healthy amount of information about different topics, because I like to speak on things. I be liking to have opinions. I don't know if y'all like that. I find myself liking to have an opinion. But because of that, I like to know what I'm talking about. I don't just like to be out here in these streets being standing on the soapbox screaming and don't know what I'm talking about. So I watched the documentary and I was like, yo, fam, that's crazy. And then I watched another documentary. I think I watched 3 in total about basically what the first one I watched was Cowspiracy. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but that was the first one I watched. And when I watched that one, because I'm also very Mother Earth, right? So I really be trying to do my part to take care of the planet. And even just making little small changes, because they're not difficult, just to make a little bit of an impact. But then when I watched that documentary, and it was like, fam, it don't matter if you never use another straw again in your life, if you eating animals all day, every day, or animal byproducts, you killing the planet. I was like, yo, what? Y'all know the emoji to be like this. That was me. And so after I watched that, then I watched some other documentaries like Forks Over Knives, and oh shoot, I can't think of that one. There was another one that was in that whole group of things, and I watched that one too. I'm telling you, after I watched some documentaries, and then the other ones were about health more than they were about the impact of meat on the planet. It was really about the impact of meat on your body. I was like, oh, okay, we not gonna do this. We not gonna do it. And I think I had toyed around with the idea here and there, but I never was committed to it, because I don't think I had a strong enough, probably a strong enough reason to make the change. Because honey, when I tell you, it's not a simple, I'm not gonna say easy or difficult, it's just not a simple change. When you go from eating, meat and meat byproducts for every meal, and switching over to not eating any. And back then there were meat substitutes, but it was the old school ones, Morning Star, I think, Gardein. I think that's how you say that. I've never heard anybody else say it now that I'm saying it out loud. I think there's they may have had something back then, but it was really a lot of soy-based stuff, and I've never been a big proponent of soy either. So it wasn't really I could just be oh, now you could go find anything and everything you want that was a meat, or meat came from a meat. Anything that was a meat or came from a meat, you could find a plant-based substitute now, and a plant-based substitute without soy if you want to. You can find something that's organic. You can find something that's really not processed. Back then, there wasn't a thing. I guess it wasn't a big enough trend of people that they really went out of their way to make sure that people had alternatives. So I was out here, my friends like to say I'm eating like a rabbit. I wasn't out here eating like no rabbit, but I was really having to switch things over. And it's so crazy because when I watched some documentaries, I was like, all right, I got this. I'm about to do this ASAP in this. So I literally went 2 weeks, because that's what I know Forks Over Knives talks about it. But it talks about doing the 2-week challenge, right? So I did that, and I kid you not, in those 2 weeks, I saw changes in multiple things, okay? My skin definitely had cleared up. I have been a person that always had a lot of acne, and it wasn't like a lot of acne like all at the same time, but I was like prone to breakouts. Excuse me, I got some in my eye. I was very prone to breakouts, so I had breakouts on my face, like in middle school and stuff. I had them on my chest and arms and like on my back and everything. And so when you go through something like that, it's not really traumatizing, but in adolescence you really care about what everybody thinks, and it's not always that everybody is walking around with pimples. Usually it's some other folks that are walking around with pimples, but it kind of makes you a little self-conscious about things. And so when you find a way not to have breakouts, honey, you gonna go with that, okay? So I noticed that my skin had changed, and some other things, y'all, I pretty much am an open book on here, but it's some things I ain't gonna tell y'all that changed in is there a code word I can use for it? There ain't really no code word. Oprah used to say y'all, I'm trying to find a word in areas that aren't commonly talked about. Okay, I try to keep it kid friendly. I don't know who babies is watching the show. So in areas that we don't usually talk about, there was other changes that happened there too, and so it was a whole lot of different things, like even losing weight in the areas you wanted to, a lot of inflammation. Y'all, when I tell you the biggest change for me, my allergies. Oh my goodness gracious. I have the worst allergies ever. And if anybody knows me, they can vouch for that. I have some crazy food allergies, and I went to the allergy doctor. I don't know if you guys ever have been there or know anybody that's been, but like when you go get the allergy test where they're testing you for stuff, they have like a environmental allergy sheet, and then they have like a food allergy sheet. And I was like, well, we don't need to do the food. I know what foods I'm allergic to. We ain't gotta go there. So they was like, well, let's do the environmental allergies, y'all. So they draw this grid. They take a marker on your back, do like that, and they draw a little grid, right, like tic-tac-toe but more squares, and they literally take like a needle, a really like short small needle, and they basically inoculate you with whatever allergen it is. So like if it's dust or pollen or whatever, they take some of that and it's on the needle, and they poke you to see if you have a reaction to it. Y'all, so you have to sit there, I can't remember, like maybe 30 minutes or something like that. And it's a funny story, but it's really not funny. So the doctor comes back in, and actually before the doctor came in, there was a mirror in there. I don't remember if they handed me the mirror like I could look, because it's on your back so you can't see. But I had a mirror, and so I was looking, and I was like, oh look, there's one thing I'm not allergic to. And the doctor was like, that was water. I was like, oh well, it's good that I wasn't allergic to the water, huh? I guess it could be worse. Every square that they had put on my back was having a reaction. So yeah, needless to say, I'm allergic to everything, okay? And so for years, when I tell you, like, the reason I was at the allergy doctor was because it had gotten so bad that I was sleeping like 12 hours and would wake up and was still tired. It was just taking so much energy out of my body to constantly just be having allergic reaction. And so I was over there at the allergy doctor because I was going to get some allergy shots, and then I went, and I think it was like too expensive or something. I don't remember exactly why I didn't get them. Plus, I'm really not a big proponent of doing stuff like that. I'd rather find like a natural remedy. But either way, I can't remember. Look, I'm trying to remember. Either way, it was too long ago. I ain't gonna try to dust off them brain cells. But I didn't end up getting the allergy shots. I think I ended up, oh, that's what happened. We decided to try some pharmaceuticals first before we went to do the allergy shot. So I was taking Zyrtec and Allegra. I kid y'all not, every day, and was still having allergic reactions, okay? So, needless to say, it was a mess. So when I had switched over for the 2 weeks and just went straight plant-based, I kid you not, my allergies, like, I mean, they ain't like blow off into the breeze. Like, I still was having some, but I mean, because I had a lot of like nasal stuff, right? And so if anybody has ever had that, that is so not cute. Like, just everything all congested and draining and stomach upset. I'm sorry if it's TMI for y'all, but I'm just trying to let you know how bad it really was. And then to go from that to not having that be is severe, and I'm like, okay, I could breathe. Yeah, if y'all ever been sitting somewhere because you're a chronic allergy sufferer and somebody be like, how come you breathing through your mouth? And you be like, because I'm trying not to die. I kid y'all not, because y'all know I'm a little dramatic sometimes. I would say that to people. People would ask me, why you breathe through your mouth? And I'm like, because I can't breathe through my nose. To not have to suffer from that any longer. And like I said, there was a whole lot of other things I noticed just with that 2 weeks of cutting out the meat and cutting out the dairy. And so I was like, I'm sold. Well, I was sold, but that doesn't mean that it was that easy. So I had to go back in and refigure and work out how was it gonna happen. Because firstly, if you are a very busy person, salads are probably the thing you're going to think about grabbing because they're available more places than plant-based. And like I said, now there's so many different options, but you have to kind of prepare if you're going to be plant-based, because if you're in Indiana, if you're other places, it's not as bad depending upon like, you know, your availability as far as like other people's stuff. So, I mean, like, of course, West Coast, California, you know, pretty much all of California, like, you're not going to have those issues. Maybe even, like, Seattle, you know, some of the bigger, like, metropolitan places, New York City, like, you're going to be able to find plenty of places that have vegan or plant-based options. As far as Indiana goes, that's not really a thing. There are a lot more options now, but like I said, this was like 7 years ago. There was nothing. And the few places that there were either really high, and y'all, we talked about this before, how I was cooking, you know, plant-based food for the folks. And like one of my main things was like, we gonna put some seasoning up in here because vegetables don't have to be bland. I can't stand a bad piece of food. It really hurts my spirit, especially if I done paid you to cook the bad piece of it, and I done paid you more money now because it's vegan, so you making me pay you more money and it don't taste good. Okay, y'all, I digress. But you know, it was a little challenging. I had to rework a lot of different things for myself personally. To kind of, you guys know we talk about working smarter, not harder, to kind of set like some of those traps for myself and to avoid some of the pitfalls, right? So I had to like kind of refigure that, because sis was used to eating a chicken sandwich, and sis ate chicken sandwiches for a long time. Even when I was like pretty much all plant-based, every once in a blue moon I would go get a chicken sandwich. It's been about a year, maybe. It's been about a year since the chicken does start fighting me, y'all. The chicken, I'm not even playing. The chicken be fighting me. If I go try to eat a piece of chicken, it's not funny, y'all. But if I go, I'm just being 100 with you, okay? 7 years later, if I go try to eat a piece of chicken, at this point now, the chicken fights me. I eat it, and my stomach hurts. I feel like I'm about to throw up. I get a headache. Don't nobody understand. Me or the stomach or the chicken. Everybody confused. We all confused. And then I tell my mom every time, don't let me eat no more chicken. If you see me with a piece of chicken, smack it out of my hand. And I kid you not, I think I might have learned my lesson. It took me about 3 or 4 times eating them random chickens before I was like, why do you keep doing that to yourself? So I think I have learned my lesson. I'm telling y'all my accountability partners. I'm telling y'all, I think I learned my lesson. So I ain't gonna be nowhere trying to eat no random chicken sandwich, okay? And if you see me in the street with a piece of chicken, you smack it. First ask me, is it chicken? Because it could just look like chicken. It could be plant-based and just look like chicken. So don't just automatically smack it out of my hand. Ask me first. I'll be 100 with you, and you can. And then if it is chicken, you smack it, okay? I'm giving you permission. But anyway, at some point down the line, I hope I'm never out and somebody like smacks something out of my hand. I'll be like, I seen that episode. Anyway, y'all, okay. So where did I stop off in the story? Oh, the allergies. So yes, that was one of the major differences that I noticed. And it wasn't really meat that was doing the allergies. It was the dairy that was doing a lot of the allergies for me. The meat adds to it, but it takes a lot longer. And actually, when I say a lot longer, I really don't even mean a lot longer. If I eat a piece of cheese, right now my nose is gonna get stopped up. Like as I'm eating the cheese, my nose will be stopped up. if I eat some meat, my nose is gonna be stopped up by the end of the night. Okay, so it's really not a big gap. But this is something that I have been able to really notice after cutting out everything for such a long period of time. Like I can really tell the difference. When I eat meat now, it is very salty. Like I can actually taste the salt because they actually put a lot of salt in meat to preserve it. And it's not like what you think, like table salt, preservative salt. It tastes different. So I can taste that. And of course, like, the chemicals and things of that nature when they get to process and stuff, because I don't just do plant-based. I try to do plant-based and not processed. So I really don't eat a whole lot of stuff that's like for real processed with a bunch of different stuff in it. I will eat like the plant-based patties and stuff like that from time to time, just like, something easy if I'm really just struggling to cook something. But I mean, for the most part, the most processed I'm going to do is something being like dried, so like a pasta or like something that's already frozen. So instead of, it being a fresh something that I'm cutting up and making something with, if it's processed to that level. And I really try to eat organic. I have fallen off the organic wagon just a tad bit, only because I changed residencies, and when I did that, I wasn't really sure. I didn't have the same access to my resources that I did before, and I like pricing and stuff like that. Because I will tell you this, when you cook food yourself, it is not more expensive. But when you go buy prepared items, even when you buy things like I was talking about, the little veggie burgers and stuff like that, you can make those super simple. Get a food processor. You only got to throw about 5 ingredients in there and whatever seasonings you like, and you can make your own patties. It's super simple. I'm not even joking. Super duper simple. But a lot of people don't know how to do that, or they haven't figured it out, or they want the convenience of it. So that convenience charge of it already being kind of an alternative food, because not everybody's eating it, and it being plant-based or organic or whatever, that they get to charge more money for them. They like double taxing you sometimes. So you end up paying quite a bit of money if you're going to go get something already prepared, right? Especially if you go to a restaurant and be trying to buy it. So it can be very expensive. So even buying like the organic produce and stuff, I kind of had my system of I would go to this store to get this store to get that. And then when I moved, I'm like, I don't know where to get nothing at no more. So I kind of fell off a little bit, because I was like, I can't be out here spending thousands of dollars out here in these streets trying to buy this organic food right now. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But yeah, so it was a journey, and like I said, it's been 7 years, and I'm just recently like being like, okay, well, I can't even eat a piece of chicken no more. Like it's that serious, because your body starts to switch over, and like I said, your taste buds change. Things taste different, and you don't really desire. And y'all, you know what is crazy? As I'm saying that, it's just reminding me of this. I thought cheese. When I tell y'all, okay, I never ate ranch. My older cousin, he was like the sauce king. Okay, so he used to put sauce on everything, and I used to see him put ranch on stuff, and I'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, the ranch is delicious. And it took me years. I didn't even try it then. It took me years. When I tried ranch, I was hooked. Okay? And so after that, I was putting ranch on everything. You know how now my niece is worse. That child put ranch on stuff that you ain't got no business putting ranch on. I was putting ranch on things that made sense, okay? But I was putting ranch on everything. I stayed with a bottle of Hidden Valley in the Frigidaire, okay? But I thought that and cheese were going to be the hardest things for me to get over. I found that they weren't. And it's so crazy when you do things like that, when you transition out of things, you kind of are really putting yourself to the test, and you find out stuff about yourself, and that's why we get on here and we talk about growth and things of that nature, because it's just, to me, it's so exciting to be able to do and make some small changes, pivot a little bit, and then to find out more about yourself. I love that. I love how you can continue to keep discovering more and more things about yourself, and you knowing yourself better and better. I just love that. It just makes me so excited that that is a thing, you know, because if we look around the other like living beings on this planet, they don't have the ability to do that. You know, that's very unique to humans, and sometimes we so like, you know, consumed with being humans that we don't think about some of the blessings and miracles that we have. But that is one of them to me. But anyway, so I found that out about myself. I thought that that ranch and the cheese was gonna be the hardest thing, and it was the chicken. I should have known. My family be joking sometimes. I'm telling y'all too much. My family be joking sometimes and be like, yeah, I remember we used to walk around with that chicken bone in your mouth. Firstly, I don't even know how many times I had a chicken bone in my mouth, but obviously I wasn't old enough. I was like 3. Okay, I wasn't old enough to have got the chicken bone myself, which means somebody gave me the chicken bone and or didn't take the chicken bone away from me when the timing was appropriate. So to be talking about me as if that was, I mean, yes, it was probably my choice, but you know, that's what parental figures are for. You know, to supervise children, not to let them walk around with the chicken bone for however long. Apparently it was an inappropriate amount of time. And then for 30 odd years later to be still laughing about how they would walk around with a chicken bone. Anyway, y'all, okay, so that doesn't got nothing to do with plant-based, but I should have known, since clearly I was loving on the chicken. Me and chicken was bae back then, so apparently me and chicken still bae now. But yeah, chicken was the toughest one for me to get rid of. And I was cool. All the rest of the meats, I was cool. I was like, deuces. Yeah, me and chicken. Chicken was rough. But I said all that to say. And I haven't even told y'all all of the story. Like, you know, I went back and forth, and I really didn't ever fall off the wagon. There would be some times that I would look up and realize I was eating too much chicken. Because I'm telling you, that was really it. I had really let go of everything else. But there would be times when I look at him, I'd be like, girl, you are eating too much chicken. Out of like pure running aroundness and not having the preparation in place for like, what am I doing when I'm out and I'm hungry? Or, you know, not cooking at home. Even, I never really kept chicken at home. I was never really that person. And that's one of the I think best ways to kind of really start transitioning is to take all the stuff out your house, because you will find that when it's not at home, you start growing accustomed to not having it, and then when you're out, you know, it just becomes less and less. But so yeah, it was really that I just used to be out and not have no plan for what was I eating, and then I'd be eating the chicken. So yeah, you know, it was a journey. It still is a journey. I say that much because for me, like I said, it's not just like not eating dairy and not eating meat. It's very much about trying to eat, you know, a well-rounded variety of foods. I always tell people to think about colors. Don't think about like proteins and whatever. When you get into plant-based and stuff, and we'll talk about more of this tomorrow, but when you get into plant-based and things of that nature, there are some things that you have to be concerned about, but it's not like you have to be hyper about it. Like, you just need to make sure that when you're cooking, you add these different things to your foods on a consistent basis. And if you skip a day, that's cool, but like, you can't like skip a week and then let the week go to 2 weeks and then a month. You can't do that. But I mean, really, you don't have to be like hyper about protein or any of those things. When you're talking about switching kids over, a little bit more so. Again, we'll talk about more of that tomorrow. But, you know, just paying attention to the colors, trying to eat a variety of colors, trying to eat a variety of types of foods. Are you eating the grains? Are you eating legumes? Are you eating seeds and berries and, you know, melons? Like, trying to eat a variety of foods, right? And then additionally, that's really it. Well, processed. So again, I try to stay away from processed, and I'm trying to do the organic. So that's really like, that's where my journey is currently, is trying to make sure that I am very like deeply immersed in that part of it. I'm pretty good with the plant, but like I said, me and the chicken. And honey, I probably eat chicken. I probably had a piece of chicken, I would say once every 3 months. And I told y'all that's gone now. That is I had to laugh at myself, y'all, because it wasn't that long ago when I tried to eat that chicken. I had a TRIBEvibe episode. Y'all don't even know. I had a whole TRIBEvibe episode. I had ate a piece of chicken because I think we was out. No, I was out by myself. And I was like starving. And I was like, I got like 3 stores to go to. And I'm about to die. So I was like, I'm going to eat a piece of chicken. I went and got that chicken sandwich. Ate that chicken sandwich. Came back to the house. Was about to do the TRIBEvibe. Thought I was going to have to cancel because I felt like I was about to throw up. So how long have we been doing this? 11 weeks? It was within the last 11 weeks that I still try to eat a piece of chicken. It was like, why are you still doing this to yourself? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a whole moment with myself. This stuff is just hilarious to me that's how things happen. And I say that really to tell you, like, it's okay to be where you are on the journey. Like, there is no judgment to it. If you decide to pick a meatless Monday, I'm proud of you. Really, if you're even thinking about trying to incorporate more vegetables, trying to get away from some processed things, or you know that you got an addiction to ice cream, wink wink for if the person hears this that I'm talking about. You got an addiction to ice cream, so you want to try to limit yourself to 3 ice creams a week instead of 4. If you're there, I'm proud of you. This is not a place of like you gotta be master level, whatever you decide tomorrow. I just want you to, pick one thing and start working and walking on your journey, on your path. It's this is no judgment zone. So anyway, but yes. So I'm gonna be done giggling at myself about a chicken. So yeah, that's pretty much where it was. And like I said, I fell off here and there, mostly because I didn't do good prepping. But I mean, I love vegetables. Like I said, I was cooking plant-based food for Cleo's Bodega. Like, I mean, it was not, clearly really enjoy eating plant-based food. Clearly really enjoy cooking it. We're actually about to start producing some cooking videos and things of that nature. So it's like that's bae. Like plants and stuff like that, they bae. So stay tuned for more things. I'm like trying to think, is there anything else? I know no other funny stories I could tell y'all. But anyway, so yeah, that was my journey to plant-based eating. My still continued journey on plant-based eating. So everybody is going to look different. Yours don't have to look like mine. I was about to say you could never eat a piece of chicken. That's really not the difference. But I mean, yours could look how it looks, and it's still appropriate. It's still relevant. It's still I'm trying to think, y'all, because I know that I wanted to definitely make sure that we covered some of the like major things that people feel when they think about like plant-based eating. And I think like we talked about protein and stuff like that. And I really think it's just really more so I feel for us, for people of color, that we just don't see a lot of people being proponents of on a regular basis. And to tell you the honest to God truth, even within the last, I say maybe 3 years, maybe even a little more than that, we have seen a lot more people come out that look like us and talk about, plant-based eating and organic and whole foods and all that stuff, right? But, I just want to get on here and let y'all know that whatever journey to healthy eating that you have is relevant, and it's yours, and it's to be celebrated, and don't feel no type of way about it, okay? All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm like, I ain't prepared no speech. I'll get more if I forgot anything. I'll tell y'all about it tomorrow, okay? Okay. All right, so with all that being said, we gotta do social media housekeeping one more time. So if you haven't already, I need you to go like, share, subscribe. Make sure you visit us at blackamethystnaturals.com. Subscribe to our podcast now that they're up. So if you like to listen to the podcast more than you like to listen to the videos, go subscribe to the podcast, and vice versa. If you like to watch videos more than you like to listen to podcasts, then go subscribe to our YouTube. See how I try to make sure everybody got their stuff. We're gonna keep on making more stuff so everybody can have their stuff. We ain't there yet. I'm only one person, okay? If anybody wants to work for free, let me know. Send me a message. I could pay you in body scrub and plant-based. I could plant-based, send you some plant-based food. If anybody wants to volunteer for BlackAmethystNaturals.com, please let me know. I don't turn down no help. But at any rate, I digress. So now that we've got all of our social media housekeeping out of the way, we're going to do our meditation housekeeping. So I just need you to get comfortable. I need you to lie down or sit down. I need you to keep your neck and your back straight and try to limit some of your distractions if you have some. If you don't, that's great. But if you do and you get distracted in the middle of it, it's okay. Try to say, hey, distraction, and then come back to meditation. And then also, if you feel wonky or something while we're in the middle of meditation, I don't always say this, but like if your nose is itchy, you gotta blow your nose or something, whatever, go and do that. Click pause if you need to, if it's gonna be a long something. But go and do that. Don't feel like you're stuck, okay? But if you feel a little awkward, that's okay. If you're new or if you got anxious, you're anxious today and you feel a little anxious, that's okay. You can't do meditation wrong as long as you're here, you're doing what you need to do. So don't feel no type of way about feeling a type of way, okay? All right. So that's all of the housekeeping. That's all of the housekeeping for meditation. So we're going to get into it. We're going to listen to Netflix Headspace Guide to Meditation, and we're going to listen to the episode on limitless potential. I thought that was a good one for talking about, all of the wonderful things that could happen when you get on a journey to eating healthier. It don't even have to be plant-based. Just get on a journey to eating healthier, okay? So, all right. Y'all ready to go? Okay, let's see what volume old boy had today.
We're going to start with the eyes open. Just aware of the space around you. So not looking at one thing, but just a soft focus of everything around you. And just maintaining that soft focus. Taking a couple of big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And each time as you breathe in, just noticing how the lungs fill with air each time, and breathing out, noticing how the muscles in the body soften as the body exhales. And just one more time, this next time as you breathe out, if you'd like to, just gently closing the eyes. And first thing, just take a moment, knowing you have nothing to do, nowhere to go for the next few minutes. Just enjoying that feeling of having stopped being still. Just starting to notice that feeling of weight, the body pressing down into the seat on the surface beneath you. Starting to notice the sounds around you, noticing any resistance to those sounds. And just reminding yourself to allow any sounds to come and go throughout the exercise. And as you bring the attention back to the body, just starting to get a sense of how the body feels today. So not thinking about it, but just noticing whether there's a sense of stillness in the body or a sense of agitation. Whether there's a sense of heaviness in the body or a sense of lightness. And in the same way, just starting to notice the breath, the movement of the breath, and how the breath feels today. Where in the body you feel that rising and falling sensation. Remember, as always, if you can't feel that rising and falling movement, just gently placing your hand on your stomach. And just staying with that movement. So just settling the body, settling the mind, allowing thoughts to come and go. And just staying with the breath, just for a few moments longer. So throughout this exercise, we're going to alternate. Every now and again, we'll come back to the breath, but mostly we're just going to rest in awareness. Again, I'll guide you through as we go. So letting go of any focus on the breath now. Just allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do. So if the mind wants to think, let it think. If the mind wants to be busy, let it be busy. Just allow the mind to be completely free. Remember, the only thing you need to remember is to realize when the mind has wandered. And in that moment, in realizing it, the mind is no longer wandering. And we're already back where we need to be. So just allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do. So allowing thoughts to come and go, even if they're thoughts about the exercise, just allowing them to come and then go again. So we're aware of the activity of the mind without getting involved in the activity of the mind. And then just gently picking up that movement of the breath again. Just going to stay here for a few seconds. So just pausing, again becoming aware of that rising and falling movement. And then once again letting go of that. And for a few moments longer, just letting the mind be free again. Letting it do whatever it wants to do. So remember, in this exercise, truly nothing to do. No need to focus on anything. No need to think about anything. Just allowing everything to come and go. Seeing it clearly as it does. And then just gently bringing the attention back once again to the body. Coming back to that feeling of contact and of weight between the body and the seat or the surface beneath you. Starting maybe to become more aware of the sounds around you. And whenever you feel ready, you can just gently open the eyes again.
Hi, loves. How you feel? I actually like that one. That one's like one of my favorite ones. So, now that we are done with our meditation, I am going to tell you that this is the end of our episode for today on plant-based eating. Sharing my journey with you guys to plant-based eating, I guess we can call it. And we will be back tomorrow with more information on how plant-based eating can benefit your body and some of the other things. And maybe even we may talk about some other aspects of plant-based eating. I'm not sure how much time we're gonna have because there's a whole lot to cover. But we may have to do a second week on it if I find like, oh goodness, we just really don't have enough time, and I'm about to be on here for 2 hours talking to y'all one episode. So we'll see what happens tomorrow when I do all of my research and get everything written down for y'all. So I look forward to doing it. Like I said, it's a whole lot of information, so I look really forward to you guys sharing. And I hope that you find some interesting tidbits and, some encouragement and maybe some little sparks that'll get you to start thinking about, some different ways to incorporate some stuff into some more healthy eating practices. So, all right, my loves, I'm going to leave you and say you are enough and self-love is the best love. Have a great rest of your night, and I love you. Bye.